Welcome back, softies, for another episode of the Soft Knocks podcast.
Welcome to the fucking show.
So, had the daddy-daughter dance this past weekend. What was your thoughts on that?
I came home and drank till about midnight with David. Had some PTSD from it. It was chaos, as always. Too many people, as we were talking about at the dance. Just, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they need a ticket limit or something.
Yeah, I mean, we got there. I think we were even just maybe like 5 minutes early, which is surprising that we were able to get anywhere on time or early.
Yeah, we had quite a crowd in our little group.
So we get there, and like it's not even full by any means, but there's already lines building to take, like they had these backgrounds for taking the photos next to, and there's already a line that looks like it's 45 minutes long formed. Mm-hmm. Things like just started. The chorus I was like, nope, I'm not waiting in this line right now. That's way too long.
Yeah, wait for it to thin out.
Wait for it to thin out. I think there was still people coming through the doors like halfway through the thing.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it that busy ever. And it was a lot of lines. There was lines for the pictures, lines for the craft room, lines for the game room. Of course, it's a dance, but kids don't really want to go dance, not with their dad.
And the pictures were the main thing I think the wives wanted, to show that we were there, to get the credit online, the glory.
Next time, I'm just going to have like a background made up, and I'm just going to put it on a wall somewhere, and we're going to take these kids and take them somewhere fun.
You should paint one, just put it in your basement.
It's just, instead of, we'll just send the wives out somewhere else, and we'll just bring them all over here and like come down to the basement. We'll take some pictures, and then, we'll make the kids like...
Play some Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah, we'll make them color or something while we all like watch some sports or drink something at the bar. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Anthony was mentioning that he went to another one that served beer for the dads, which...
That seems insane.
It seems a little crazy. And then they just drive their kids home.
Was it in his...
Oh, yeah, it was in his area.
In his area?
Yeah.
I would have figured it was from where we grew up.
But it was like $40 a ticket, I believe.
Oh, that is where he's from then.
Yeah. Where you're from, they do a solo cup at the door. But, well, I'm glad we went. A good memory for the girls. They all had fun. But yeah, as one of my kids is just exhausting. Just running everywhere.
Yeah, I bet that pizza place we went to eat at beforehand, I bet they were exhausted by us.
But I guarantee you that's one of their heavier nights they've had, business-wise. I mean,
especially like all at once it was a Saturday night, but we had somewhere to be at 6, so we got there like 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
that's
5
pretty
o'clock.
early for Saturday night. But that place, not really meant as a dine-in place, which I thought was interesting.
No, and I kind of knew that beforehand. I didn't want to make a reservation for 16 whatever we had.
Like I think you mentioned Bravo, and all I thought in my head was, we ain't going to fucking Bravo.
That was literally the only one that had like a reservation for that many at the time we needed.
That's all I need is to have to spend like fucking $40 on dinner for me and my daughter for her to not eat.
The kids won't eat it either.
Not eat any of it,
Yeah.
At least with pizza, I know she'll eat it. And that pizza place I like that it was by the slice.
Yeah. That's pretty good pizza there.
Yeah, that's a struggle when we go out to eat, or if we go out for pizza, is that everybody wants something different, Mm-hmm. And so that was a pretty good deal. I like that spot. We'll probably go back there at some point.
Well, they got drive-through window. It's nice.
Yeah, I saw some stuff about drive-through, which is an interesting idea.
But yeah, it was another one in the books. So do it again next year.
Yeah, I did. When we got done, like I think I went to bed. I can't imagine if I would have stayed up and kept.
I need to unwind. David, well, his little one is pretty busy too, so he was kind of on edge. He needed a drink.
Yeah, but at least she's still in the like, isn't it can't get away quickly.
No. But it was
Like even at like a daddy-daughter dance in a church, like it would still like make me really nervous if my daughter was off like running around.
I lost my oldest for a little bit,
but it's obviously it's a safe place.
It wasn't a Catholic church, so there wasn't priests. It's coming from a Catholic. So
You have daughters. What do you care?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to hold a mother-son dance.
That was pretty fun. You do anything else that was fun over the weekend?
No, I think that was it. That took most of the time. Yeah. I didn't do much Friday or Sunday. How about you?
I can never remember what I do anymore.
Well, you said you played poker and got in a fight about Roadhouse.
Yeah, that was funny.
So
I don't even know how it came up. It was just weird that it came up at all. And they were talking about I don't remember how it came up.
I can't believe it came up organically where you weren't like, we did a podcast on Roadhouse.
No, none of those people know that I do a podcast.
So people are just talking about Roadhouse.
It came up. It's a bunch of it's guys from high school and stuff. One of them lives on the south side still, so we were over there playing poker. And yeah, I don't know how it came up, but I told them my opinion that it was like a terrible movie outside of just as a good old-fashioned action flick. And boy, they didn't like that. They were fans of Roadhouse.
It's like in the movies where everything just comes to a screeching halt when you say you hate Roadhouse.
A little bit. Yeah, it's like the music shut off.
Yeah, they get in your
Everybody
face.
looked at me. Just beat the shit out of me and kicked me out.
Yeah.
No. I always have fun when I go over there and play poker because I lose track of time. Like we'll play like one like tournament style round of poker, and then we play like it's called Dealer's Choice. It's just a bunch of random different types of poker games.
It'd be fun.
You just go around and it's just a cash game. Normally, I have a hard time staying up late. I have to be, engaged in something that I enjoy or whatever. But like, when I go over there and play poker, like I left there at like I don't know 2:15.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it wasn't like we were
Those
just
poker nights too. You do lose track of time.
Yeah, and it wasn't like we were just like out drinking. Yeah, we were having a couple beers, but it was mostly we were just like losing track of time playing poker. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, it's like, well, shoot, I got to get home.
Oh, no wonder you were tired the next night.
Oof, I was too, man. Because like on nights like that, like if I get home, it's 2:30 when I get home or whatever. I cannot just immediately lay down and go to bed.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and then of course, I'm still up at 7 or something, and so it's made for a tired day, but it was all right.
Yeah. Well, sports world's very slow right now. I guess I wanted to get your opinion on this golfer who I'd never heard of till now, Taylor Gooch.
Gooch.
Saying that there's an asterisk since he's not in the Masters. And I'm sure that was taken a little out of context. I did not hear the interview, but
yeah, I didn't
getting a lot of shit.
I didn't listen to or read the interview where it came up. But I think the gist of it it wasn't so much about him not being in the Masters. It was about LIV folks not being allowed to play in the Masters, which is a fabrication. Like the best of best from LIV, like the top, 10 or 12 guys.
The ones that matter.
Yeah, are in the Masters this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is, some of them have won it. Some of them have won other majors recently. And so they're all invited to the Masters. Now, Taylor Gooch is not invited to the Masters.
No.
That's, I think his point is that, like, he has been very successful on LIV. Like, I think last year he won the individual title. So I don't know how they determine that, but whatever.
So maybe there should be an asterisk. He's on fire, huh?
Well, like, the funniest thing about all of this is all of the backlash he's taking online. Like, someone someone like updated his Wikipedia and put like an asterisk on all of his tournament wins because like Rory wasn't in the field.
Wikipedia, how can you just do whatever you want on that?
It's the greatest.
Just ruin someone. I love it.
But yeah, so like Taylor Gooch only had, I think, one PGA Tour title. He's only won once on the PGA before, he went to live. And yeah, so like on his Wikipedia, there's an asterisk because it was some like no-name tournament somewhere that Rory wasn't in. And so they put an asterisk on it. But yeah, he's taking a bunch of shit because it's a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah.
Now it's funny, like Rory reacted to it, and Rory basically said like, he went back and he read like the interview or whatever, and he's trying to give Taylor the benefit of the doubt because he basically just, he felt like he was led there, like Taylor was led to that answer by the interviewer. Like it wasn't like Taylor just outright said this out of nowhere.
That's why I thought maybe it was tongue in cheek or something, but bold take.
How do you think in this day and age you're going to be able to
you're
say,
not
like,
in the Masters. Is asterisks?
Yeah. What about like all the other Masters before so it's just now there's all these asterisks for anybody who isn't part of Live who wins a major because the Live folks aren't all necessarily invited. I don't know.
I hope he should just double down on this.
There's another golf story going on right now that I don't know if you've heard about or not, but do you know who Anthony Kim is?
I see the Asian guy. Yes.
So Anthony Kim is a guy. It's kind of a weird story. Like they need a movie about this guy. So when I think he's 36 or 38 now. I think he's 36. But when he was real young, so like early 20s, he comes on the tour and he's like this, like he dresses loud, big belt buckles, real good golfer. Looked like there was a lot of promise there. And then he had this injury issue. He had like missed a couple starts and then something happened and he had this big insurance policy on himself. And it was like if he got injured and couldn't play golf anymore, he got paid like 10 or 12 million bucks.
Huh.
Now, if you think back, in the realm of golf, that's not that much money anymore. But 12 years ago, it was. I mean, of course, it's a lot of money now.
See, I'll take it.
But like these guys now make all kinds of money for things. And the rule was he was just never allowed to play professional golf again if he took the money.
Policy.
Yeah. So he took the payout because he didn't really know, so much on how the injury is going to work out. Or maybe he just, at first didn't like the life of trying to be on tour, the grind. I don't know. But he disappeared from the public for those 12 years. Like nobody, he was kind of like this myth, he lived out in Vegas and the rumors were that
12 million will go quick there.
Well, no, the rumors were that he played a lot of big cash money games just on the courses and stuff with people. But,
which that's allowed, right?
I mean, I assume it's legal in Vegas. You do it. People gamble on the golf course all the time.
Yeah.
I gamble on the golf course, but it's not like I'm gambling for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But he's probably out there and you get like big wig rich people who want to try and play somebody for money. And you can use handicaps and stuff in golf so you can try and level the field a little bit. Wouldn't surprise me if he was in some huge games out there. But he just disappears from public eye forever. And like it was like the golfing world was just, it's like thrown. People, it's like this mystical guy. They want him to come back and he never comes back.
Where's the belt buckles?
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's these rumors started popping up the last few months that he's thinking about making a comeback. Yeah, he actually did. He went to Live. He's playing in his first golf tournament.
So that doesn't break the insurance?
Oh, I'm sure it does. He went to Live though, and so Live probably paid him back.
Yeah.
And then some. And over on Live, he can dress however he wants and kind of probably act however he wants. Like they showed pictures of him in like their pro-am or whatever today. I mean, it's across the world, so it's earlier today or last night or something. But he's out there and he just looks like a hobo. He's got like a ponytail and a man bun, and he's wearing like a white t-shirt, gym shorts, and golf shoes that look like tennis shoes, the Jordans. And
sounds like he's lived a pretty cool life.
Yeah. And so I'm pretty interested to see how he plays.
Did it say what Liv paid him?
No, they don't really make those like super public.
Well, the ROM one was, right? Or the big time?
Yeah, you kind of get an idea. Like, I think the ROM one, like, I don't think anybody's ever gotten an actual figure, but, the thought was it was, at least 300 to 400 million plus probably some ownership, and who knows how that's paid, whether that's paid at once or over time, or there's some sort of vesting schedule. I don't know. But I would bet for Anthony Kim it was probably for sure whatever he owed the insurance companies, like up front, and then probably some other decent sized chunk of money, and then they just basically guaranteed him.
That could be a movie
starts.
if they,
like, if he turns
especially
out,
if he turns out to be decent.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask, though. Some of these guys take a 6 months, a year off for an injury, and they come back and they look like trash when they play in that first tournament back. So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
When's that?
They starts tonight. It's in Saudi Arabia, I think. And so whatever the time difference is, I bet it's
teeing off
tomorrow
right now.
morning is some ungodly thing,
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I had not heard that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that one shakes out.
Other than that, for sports, it's getting basketball heating up, but
I was looking at Iowa State's schedule, and on the ESPN app, like, they're saved as one of my favorites, and so I'm like on there looking at it and trying to look at their schedule to see how many games they got left, and it just ends, and like, oh, they finished up play. No, they still have 3 games. You have to click on March.
Yeah, we're already in March.
I thought they were over. No, they still got 3 games because I was looking at the standings,
which are
and
very winnable, I believe.
yeah, their schedule looks easy, but they're 1 game behind Houston, and it's just like Iowa State to come and have an incredible year, be better than Kansas, and yet here's Houston, the number 1 team in the country, just happens to be in the conference this year.
Yeah,
just can't win the Big 12.
March Madness is always fun, though. Like, that'll be something to watch at least.
Yeah, that will be fun. Those games start
What is it?
Like, so the St. Patrick's Day is a Sunday. It's usually that weekend, right?
Or is it that week after?
It might be after.
I know the conference tournaments might be that weekend. I can't remember, but yeah, it's coming shortly.
Conference has to be. It's not this weekend. It's got to be the weekend after.
Yeah, it might be.
So then, I don't know. Anyway, around there.
So that'll give something. Maybe we can talk about that instead of movies. Which leads us to our topic tonight.
Bloodsport.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The original Predator.
What was your thoughts?
Look, there's a lot of stuff that is like funny that shouldn't be funny in that movie. There's a lot to love in that
Some
movie.
of the delivery of the lines. I think first off, what shocked me is that it is a true story.
Yeah, what a shocker.
I mean, I've seen the movie, and I must have just forgot that completely.
I've seen the movie, and I don't ever remember that being a
It
note
even
at
gave
the
his records and stuff, Frank Dukes.
So let me tell you about Frank Dukes, though. Did you go look at anything else about that? Or are you just going straight off of
I'm
what's
just
on the movie?
going straight off the movie.
So, funny thing is, so I fire up our friendly Wikipedia, and actually I looked on Google, but whenever I look something on Google, I just go straight to Wikipedia because it's the best source for truth. They based the movie on this Frank Dukes, who's a real person, and but it is very likely that it is 100% made up.
Did he just create this story?
Yes.
You don't think he was even a fighter ever?
No. So there's I think it's probably somewhere in between, but there's a lot of accusations that he basically made this story up and like, his record and some of this other stuff to promote his dojos or whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
Right? Like it's you start reading some of this stuff online about it, and it's crazy the kind of things that are out there. Like one of them was like there's a photocopy of the receipt of him buying the trophy base. There's I think it was, I don't know if it was the thing for the Kumite or it might have been, but like the only contact listed for it, there was some like an LLC or something. The only contact listed for it was Frank Dukes.
So Kumite he made up?
Yeah, that's.
I was just, this
well, there
seems
was like
pretty barbaric. Which, if it is real, I want to attend one. It looks. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There could be something out there.
There might be, but to have it be like well known, where you get an invite for it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just said he's undefeated, like maybe throw in a loss there if you're really going to sell the story.
Well, and that's the other side thing too, is that he's even, I think he's written a book, and I think in another interview or something, he said his record was, I'm going to say like 327 ties and one loss or something, or 7 losses and 1 tie or something like that. And in another instance, he said, and he on his website claims that he's like 328-0, right? And so he's got some own discrepancies on his own. He had, so like one of the things he said to like, prove that the story were true was like, oh, call so and so. He was there. I met him, and I kind of assume it's like the curly haired Harley dude.
Yeah,
right?
Ray Jackson.
Yeah. And he's like, call him up, and this. So they get a hold of him. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, I was in that. I was invited for being an undefeated wrestler at this high school, right? And I'm thinking, first of all, come on, high school wrestler.
Does the Kumite have scouts that go
Yes.
to local high school wrestling tournaments?
Yeah, and so.
That'd be like me just saying, tell the lie. With like they may call you, like a job interview. Will you just lie for me?
Yeah, and then they fact checked his story, and he never attended the high school.
This dude's just some drunk on his couch.
It was somebody that Frank Dukes knew from L.A. And eventually the guy was like, yeah, what do you want me to say? I was friends with Frank.
Well, this is great. This story's too good to be true. Like, there's just no way. But
it is.
Let me live in my fairy tale where this really happened, where he beat the shit out of everybody.
It is just so funny that because after I watched it, like in no way, shape, or form did I think that movie was true, based on anybody's story. Until the end, it says that I'm like dumbfounded. I'm like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm. I was pretty shocked to see that towards the end.
But yeah, so
but
then
the
I
movie,
just went back
the movie itself, though, pretty comical at some point.
It is. It is. It was. I was like taking down notes as I was watching it, and it's the beginning of that movie.
Yes,
it's some pretty bad acting. There's a lot of bad acting throughout the movie.
Oh, the whole thing was.
But it was really good. Like overall, I thought the movie was great because it's a good, just gratuitous violence.
The first scene is a bunch of people chopping coconuts on the top of tree branches and punching blocks of ice with their fists and feet.
Yeah, everybody's getting ready for the Kumite.
What is how we need to decide draft order. Who can break this block of ice?
Can I just take last pick and not do it? I don't want to break my hand.
But right when I saw that opening scene, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good.
It was funny. Like they're trying to like portray like how everybody has these different fighting styles and all of this stuff, and most of it's ridiculous. Like what is the benefit of punching blocks of ice?
I've never done it. Maybe there is.
I mean, why don't you just punch a
bag
4x4 or some bricks? Like, why are we hanging giant like 3 foot by 2 foot cubes of ice?
It would melt pretty quick too. You better get your punches in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it opened, and then the flashbacks to when he was a child.
It was a bit much. Like
this Japanese family just kind of took him in, and like, if you want this sword, you have to learn how to fight like we do. Because
I'm starting to think too that like these movies from back then. I mean, there is just not a single one of these movies gets made today. No. Not in that script, not in that form. He goes there and he starts training with them, and that Japanese kid he's supposed to train, right? He calls him Round Eye. He calls John Claude Van Damme
Round Eye. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, boy, I don't think that would be allowed today.
Well, he might be able to get away with it against white people. I don't know.
I guess.
But yeah, young Frank Dukes. I don't know if that was his real voice, the kid, but he sounded like he was. It sounded really downsy.
Yeah, a little weird. And then all of the fight scenes in that training, especially, it was like it felt slow motion. Like
yeah,
they didn't have any way to do the training scenes and make it look realistic. It just looked totally choreographed and fake.
And this Japanese guy's training style of pretty much putting him in a torture rack like Braveheart and tearing his limbs apart between trees is wild. Do they really? Is that a real training?
I don't know, but Van Damme beat it. He just like flexed until he could lift up and break the bracket from the tree.
He does have incredible flexibility. That was amazing. Which also led me to, if you're neighbors with this Japanese man, you see him have a white man tied up in a torture rack, what are you thinking?
I don't know. It depends on what part of town you're in. It might be
It
just might be the norm. They might be cheering him on.
Fantasy football last place. A tree torture rack. That'll keep people trying.
How about him like training blindfolded?
Yeah. Some foreshadowing. It came in handy at the end.
I'm gonna make you wear a blindfold when we do podcasting, and then you're gonna have to go get beers blindfolded. And we're gonna see how much you break.
I'm well trained. I know right where that fridge is. That's one thing I could do.
Yeah, that whole training scene was it was a lot. It was a lot. Like all the way from like when he met them when he was a kid, and then they were breaking into the house. And you're right. When the young Van Damme or the young Frank Dukes is just standing there like an idiot after he broke in there.
He's like Simple Jack. He was
just like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, It's like, I could mold this guy into a machine, is what that Japanese guy was thinking. He'll do anything.
Yeah, it's like when Gump went to the army.
Yeah. And then the scene first of all, I take it a captain in the military or something.
Yeah, they don't really say too much.
Would that not be a dishonorable discharge just to leave and go fight in Hong Kong?
You'd think so.
And they send those agents after him who are just complete goons. Forrest Whitaker has to be one of his first roles.
Yeah, that's a other like question about this is like, would they actually do that? Like, would they send people after them, or would they just be like, well, I don't know, we'll arrest him when he gets back?
Yeah, they made it sound like he's a huge asset. I don't know enough about that, but the chase scene throughout the city of Hong Kong, when he's just like taunting them, and like leads them to a body of water, and they all just fall in. Like, is this a comedy movie? Like, I don't.
Once I like went back and like looked into a little bit about this being a true story, like it also then makes me wonder, right? Because obviously, it may be based on something Frank Dukes told someone, but it is not based on reality.
No.
Right? And so my question would be like, all right, the script as it is, how close is that to what Frank Dukes told whoever made the movie? Like, do they still take a bunch of liberties like Hollywood does? Or is it just that outrageous because that's what Frank said? So it's like basically exactly what he said.
I'll tell you what he definitely told him is that this reporter really wanted information. I gave her none and still banged the hell out of her. Like, that's a bold
that was
move.
something. Yes, he certainly said.
He's like,
that,
she just kept asking, but she also could not resist me.
And then he probably told this person like, yeah, but she's from Canada. You don't know her. I can't get in touch with her.
Yeah, it was a 3-day thing in the past. But yeah, that was funny. She just the whole date wanting to get information about this, and then they end up in his hotel room. I mean,
How about when he gets to the Kumite and he shows up and they give him a bunch of crap, like they don't believe his invite, even though there's some like yokel buffoon, Midwesterner guy.
Yes, the Harley guy.
Yeah, the
Ray
Harley
Jackson
guy right next to him who's like, they're okay with his invite, but not the ripped Jean-Claude Van Damme. And
yeah, they had some like a guy you see at a townie bar, and they're like, "Oh, he's good." Yeah, but this guy
they make Frank do
this guy who like pretty much
and he has to do some special technique on this pile of bricks. Is that possible? I don't know. He hits it hard enough to break a brick, but not the brick he hits. He's got to break the bottom brick. Yeah. All the energy has to transfer through all the bricks.
There's some physics involved there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If that's possible, but that's another thing I guarantee you Frank Dukes said happened.
Yes. Oh man. What an incredible story. Like if this what really was, like I can't believe someone would listen to this story from Frank and be like, believe him. And then they got it through Hollywood. They were able to like I mean, I guess maybe they were all like, there's no way this is true, but this guy is saying it is, so we can slap that little thing on the end.
Like, we need a movie to push out soon. Let's go with it. Yeah, it was pretty wild. And then the agents finally catch up to him. First of all, he takes down, like, the entire military of, where are they? Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, Hong Kong.
And the agents finally are just like, well, let's just go watch him fight. Like they were hell bent on, you are not fighting, you are coming with us. And he does a little maneuver that ricochets the taser off of a trash can. And then they're like, well, that's it. Let's let him fight. And they just become spectators. They just gave up so easily there.
I still, and I don't understand the taser. Like, I don't feel like they're showing up with tasers.
No, like what? They didn't carry firearms. So
I mean, this like crazy looking taser
is a huge taser. I'd never seen one quite like that.
I mean, maybe that's what they looked like back then. I don't know.
How do you holster that thing? It was like holding an iron.
I loved his first fight. So Frank's first fight
broke the record or something.
No, I don't think that was the first one. Knocks this guy down. And the guy's about to get up, and Frank gives him a look like you don't want to do.
Oh yeah,
that.
and he
just fakes it, gets down.
Mm-hmm. Another definite story that he said happened.
I once beat a guy by looking at him.
I'm gonna go out to a bar where it's a bunch of young people who don't know this movie. I'm gonna live as Frank Dukes. See if I can get away with this. Can you make me a Wikipedia? Have me undefeated.
Yeah. How about the main, like the evil, like
Chong Li?
the boss, yeah, Chong Li, right?
By the way, the biggest tits I've ever seen on a man. His pectorals were unreal.
He flexes his pecs.
Yeah, and they're
makes him
dancing.
dance.
Those things were huge. Like, what is his chest day? Every day?
He doesn't skip chest day. He only does chest day.
He made Van Damme's look tiny. I mean, the rest of him, yeah, he was in good shape, but those pecs were enormous.
Oh man,
what a set!
I couldn't stop laughing every time he did that.
And he just like WWE cocky after killing a man, like it was nothing.
Yeah, great soundtrack.
Yeah. It was classic. Was it 80s or 90s?
I think
late
this
80s.
Was late 80s, early 90s.
Just the classic, like the ballads. That, like,
yes.
When he's riding on the train and he sees Chong Li's face in the reflection because he's just so paranoid about him.
Like I want
kind of some Rocky vibes on that with the.
I want to get the rights to that "Fight to Survive" song that's in there.
Yeah, it's about the Kumite, right? Don't they say it?
I need that to be the intro music to the podcast.
Go ahead. Nobody's gonna turn us in.
Oh man, I'm like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this CD. Think I can buy the soundtrack to Bloodsport?
It's probably in my dad's basement somewhere. I don't know. He probably already has it. But yeah, it is one of those classic. Like they kept having full scenes of like slow songs, like ballads, and it was just hilarious.
All right, so there was one guy that Frank fought. In the fight, he does the splits and hits the guy in the nuts.
Yeah,
the
big.
Do you think he looks a little bit like GW?
Jean-Claude?
No, the guy he hit in the nuts with that hairdo. If that hairdo was white, tell me that isn't George.
Was that guy not Asian? Are we thinking of the same guy?
No, I don't think he was Asian. Maybe he was Asian, but
I need to go back and look. I remember the nut punch, and I'm like, that's kind of cheap, Frank.
Yeah, we're talking about the same guy.
I bet George was in the Kumite back in 1972.
Is George Frank Dukes?
I could see him telling that story.
I think Hollywood needs to take a hard look at how they're doing movies now. And they need, like, a studio out there needs to go back.
Give us some of that nostalgia.
Do a new movie, but go like it's straight out of the late 80s. I mean, we're going to go back to that time. We're going to use the same type of jokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
same
jokes.
Gratuitous violence. We're going to use the same special effects. I don't even want to see new special effects.
No. There were some decent fight scenes, but you're right. It was in slow-mo a lot of the time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just... I don't know. Maybe it's... then it's just harder to...
Van Damme is
fake.
Really athletic. Like,
yeah,
that's insane. Some of the splits alone between two chairs.
And it's just funny, like, how everything that he did in his training, it's like it somehow came up as something he would need to use.
Well, yeah, he trained with a master. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew you'd be blinded in a fight at some point. And, and the facial expressions that he made in that last fight were just... I know there's a lot of GIFs on the internet with that.
Oh,
where his face.
Yeah. Fucking Kumite.
But yeah, I thought he beat Chong Li a little easy.
Yeah, you would have thought that would have gone a little
longer.
A little closer to... I mean, I guess he had to beat him blind, but...
Yeah.
What a cheater. He's got to pull out some...
Did Frank Duke say that too, I wonder? It's like he pulled out a tablet of...
Couldn't even beat me when I was blinded by his drugs that he threw in my face.
Oh, yeah, it was just...
I would love to know what the context was of the story that Frank told this Hollywood producer, whoever it was.
I think he was just needed money, and he just thought this up on his couch one night.
Probably.
Which, good for him.
What was another one? All right, so yeah, because he actually was in the military, but they couldn't find anything from his service that he was ever like overseas.
So he wasn't an asset worth sending two agents to Hong Kong.
Well, he claims that like he was. I think he might have been dishonorably discharged.
That's what I was thinking immediately. Like, I think you would be.
And he claims that the military like faked his records to discredit him. He also claims that he was recruited by the CIA.
Okay, yeah, this guy. Seriously, I've probably told a story like this drunk one night. Like, this is ridiculous.
I'm going to memorize the story, and then I'm going to tell it to people when I'm drunk. I'm going to tell them
Bring
all
it
about
up your poker night.
tell them all about the time that I was recruited to go fight in this underground championship in Hong Kong.
Put on by the mafia of Hong Kong. Yeah. You should say that's where you met your wife. She was the reporter.
In a Kumite?
Yeah.
She was the reporter trying to get information.
She's like, she saw me do splits between two chairs. Couldn't resist.
How far do you think you could split your legs? I don't think I'd get very far.
Oh, God, no. Far enough from my ball sack to
I
drag the ground.
I can barely like navigate my house without feeling sore. I can't even imagine what would happen if I had to do the splits.
What an awesome party trick, though, if you just did the splits. Like The Office, Andy Bernard, when he sliced his ball sack on his keys. Trying to do the splits.
Who do you think in our league would be the closest to being able to do the splits?
David.
Not even a hesitation.
David. I think he kind of is close. Brad, maybe, but probably David.
Yeah, I have no idea. Wouldn't be me.
No, yeah, I think. All right, we'll put a bow on this Bloodsport. Out of 10 stars, IMDb rating, what do you give it?
I think I'd give it a 7. Good movie, bad acting, funny. Probably doesn't mean to be funny, but funny.
I'd go high 6, maybe 7.
Do we have to do the Dave Portnoy scales where you're not allowed to do even numbers?
Yeah, let's. I guess 6.7.
I'll go 7-1.
Wow, enjoyable watch, funny, and now the fact that this guy probably lied about the whole thing is even better. But
it really does. That actually makes it even better. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and do some more research. I think Frank Dukes wrote a book, and I might read it.
I might even read a book. We could do a podcast on Frank Dukes. He'd probably come on.
Our first real guest.
Our first and only guest that would do this. He's probably desperate right now to tell his story.
Hey, Frank, let me tell you about a podcast me and my buddy started.
I might DM him. I assume I'm going to see if he has an Instagram. He can even, just call in. I guess if you tell a lie long enough, you start to believe it. Maybe that's where he's at.
Well,
Or what if we're just wrong and he's telling the absolute truth?
Oh, wouldn't that be spectacular? If somehow something came out and it was, like...
Just proved him
absolute truth.
Yeah.
Like the real Chong Li comes out and says...
Yeah, was Chong Li real?
I was at that Kumite.
I threw a tablet in his face.
Here, I had a secret video going, and here is a film of the Kumite.
I think I found him on Instagram. That's definitely him. It's him meditating on a statue. That's definitely him.
I'm gonna start following him. I'm gonna use the podcast instead of follow him.
Yeah, follow him. This is awesome. Oh, there's people just calling him out in the comments like as a fraud.
DM him and say, "Hey, Mr. Dukes. Don't actually TM. This is the
I'm
most
going to.
ridiculous.
What's the worst that happens?
It was all true, and he shows up and kicks the living shit out of us.
I mean, yeah, he could probably beat the fuck out of us. He still runs a dojo. He's always wearing sunglasses, too. That's an alpha move. So, yeah, I'd recommend watching that one if you haven't seen it. Kill a night for you.
Yeah, and you know what? It was
Yeah.
only like an hour and 40, I think.
If that, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't
Hour
too
and
long. Good run time. Do you think he picked that he wanted Van Damme to play him? I always wonder
That actually makes a lot of sense.
these true stories. Like, my wife and I saw the Iron Claw about the Von Erichs WWE.
Yeah.
And we saw the real Von Erich. Not a nice looking man. And he's like, I want Zac Efron to play me. Like, that's... Do you think he picked Zac Efron? I mean, like, they look nothing alike.
I don't know. I always thought that, Hollywood's going to pick all that, and they're going to try and make it the most sellable piece of
Yeah.
art. But, like, I guess that could be part of the contract with the purchase of the story. I mean, if you did something crazy and they really wanted the rights to the story, and if you wanted to be like, look, I got to have final say on who plays me, you can put anything you want in a contract.
Stallone demanded that he himself play Rocky, I remember, in order to... Because they wanted to put someone else...
Good point, yeah.
We need a Stallone movie. Although I did see Con Air you were talking about. That's on Hulu. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I threw a few out there on the list, and
It's funny you put Weekend at Bernie's. I just watched that on TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't think I'd ever seen it all the way through.
Like I had a couple of I added 2 on there, and then I had to go. Then something clicked at work, and I had to do something, and then I looked back over, and there was Bloodsport on there. It's like, yes.
Oh, I got countless movies I can think of. Not on the spot, but there's another Van Damme one where he has a ridiculous dance scene in it, and I just can't remember what it's called. It's one of his more well-known ones, too. He's always good because he's really a terrible actor, but pretty good action scenes. And
Yes, a lot of good action scenes.
Kickboxer, that might have been the one.
Yeah, his movies are all probably very similar.
He's in a movie with Dennis Rodman called Double Team. You just search Double Team. It's not what you think.
You better be very careful.
And Mickey Rourke's in this? What a trio.
Which one's getting double teamed?
Oh, that's awesome. It's a buddy cop sci-fi action comedy movie. All of that. What's your thoughts on court storming? It's been in the news lately because earlier in the year, Caitlin Clark I love her, but she kind of flopped when a fan ran into her.
She did.
She flopped.
Like at the time, it kind of looked like, oh, you can't have these athletes, running into Joe Blow, getting hurt. Yeah, she
did. And
they must teach flopping really well at that school.
Hey, now.
Fucking drama major.
It's my cousin. Be careful. And then the Duke kid got injured, I guess. He kind of stuck his leg out there, though, and a fan ran into him. And now they're all up in arms about wanting to ban it. I don't think you need to go like that far. It's kind of
maybe they should do something about it, but I mean there's a valid point that some of these athletes have the potential to go on even in the next, I don't know, when's the NBA draft?
June or
June?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So some of these guys are going to go through March Madness and then they're going to go off to the draft, and you're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right? For some of them.
Yeah.
So I completely understand maybe doing something, but like maybe it's just a matter of like figuring out, okay, how do we get these guys off the court
And then
before,
let them go.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe if you let the students do it, but you let them do it after the visiting team is off the court, because that's the real worry, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then you can, you know, let it happen.
I just feel like
or
this has been
whatever.
happening for years, and these are the first two incidences that I remember. Like, I don't think you need to ban something that's so rare, you know? Like, it doesn't happen that often where
true.
there's an injury. And I mean, they're...
It doesn't happen that
It
often
does
to
add
begin
to
with.
the-
To begin with,
Yeah,
and then
to
for
begin
someone to
with.
get injured is even more.
And it is part of college sports, the storming.
It should be.
Did you ever storm a field or court?
I was at the Iowa State Oklahoma State football game, when Oklahoma State was number 2 in the country, and it was like the Big 12's. I think this was back when it was like the BCS national title, and Oklahoma State was looking to get in the national title game, and then they came into Jack Trice Stadium and got told something different.
Did Iowa State make a bowl that year? Or was
I
it
don't
just
know. But I know I'd tell you what did happen that day was I bet against Iowa State.
Oh.
Oklahoma State was favored by some stupid number. It was like, I don't know, 14, 16 points or something. And I'm like, they're going to cover that. There's no way.
It doesn't sound like enough to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. And then, this is back when I had season tickets. And so Mia and I are sitting in the end zone. They, tie it up at the end of the game. It goes to 3 overtimes. And then we didn't have kids at that point, but we went out on the field, and I think we went somewhere else in Ames too that day, but we went out in the field, and
That's a good memory for you, huh? You would, I like the storming but I suppose they could maybe wait till you could probably get security to, although it's a lot of people to hold back. I don't know.
if you just made that the rule, I think fans would follow. If you were like, hey, yes, you can do this, but you have to wait, I think they would
wait a few seconds. Yeah. Yeah.
It's that you tell these people, no, you can't do it, and then they just want to do it anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done it on a basketball court. I assume I don't know. There's more people at a football game, I guess.
Bigger field, though.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know. It's just a pointless debate people are having on ESPN. I don't know why I even listen. But
well,
just to fill the airwaves.
Don't be really good and then lose.
Yes. Yeah. Don't get upset. I mean,
it's like a team getting upset because the other team's still scoring points on them in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
You don't like it, defend it.
That's right. I mean,
you don't like it.
You don't see that.
Get
Kansas.
some security guys to just to
get Frank
protect
Dukes.
your guys. Yes, man, Frank Dukes would totally come there and kick a student in the face if you tried to get near
blindfold.
Yeah.